Welcome back to Leading Edge and our look at teamwork. We're going to start at an absolute foundational point, and it's going to take us through 2 episodes to cover this topic. Pat Lencioni, in his groundbreaking million-seller book, The 5 Dysfunctions of Team, identified the foundational element of all teamwork as being trust. And you know what we found, certainly in 25 years of practice, that to be true on so many levels. Trust impacts how we communicate. Trust impacts whether or not we allow someone to participate and how we value their input. Trust also has an incredible impact on culture. We'll talk about that dynamic a little bit at the end. But let's first talk about what Lencioni identified as just one of the biggest, most competitive advantages that anybody would have, and that would be by shifting our trust. He identified 2 types of trust. The first of those is something called reliable trust. It's the most common and by far and away the most fluid of the 2 trust types. Reliable trust in the form of example, if I say, you know what, I'm going to call you at 3 o'clock, and if I call you at 3 o'clock, reliable trust has been established. Conversely, if I say I'm going to call you at 3 o'clock and I don't, reliable trust has been damaged. I'm not going to say destroyed, but damaged. Now, if I turn around and send a note and say, gosh, I am so sorry, something came up, my internet was down or whatever it was, I can restore that reliable trust relatively quickly. I mean, think about your kids for a minute. You say, did you do your homework? The answer is yes. Reliable trust is solid. Proved otherwise, reliable trust drops. And there's a lot of up and down associated with reliable trust. Probably in the high 90 percentile, every relationship we have has degrees of reliable trust. Even simple commerce interactions like at a fast food place. You order something, look in the bag, it's there, reliable trust is built, not there, reliable trust drops. It's a strange dynamic. Most people with their spouse or significant other really only have degrees of reliable trust. I'll be home at 5, get home at 5, reliable trust established. Now, the reason that we talk about reliable trust first is because you can only go so far with reliable trust. It's a shallow form of trust. It's based on what you do. It's kind of based on, not who you are, but what you do. And to make the shift into really powerful trust, then we need to move from reliable trust into the second type, and that's called vulnerable trust. Now, when we're together again, we'll talk about the dynamics associated with how you build vulnerable trust. And I don't want to mislead you. There's some risk associated with this, but the performance advantages when you really move into vulnerable trust are amazing. So until next time, let's work on thinking about where our trust is and what it's going to take for us to really move into that vulnerable trust. Have a great week, everyone.